Okay, I don't have a way to test my audio. I'm kind of doing everything I can, and I completely forgot about the audio. So let's see here what I may be able to do. But what is up, everybody? It's the Don with the Don Tech, and I am having an absolute nightmare of a time with all the tech wanting to fight me today and not work in the way that I need it to work. I had everything all set up. I click start streaming, and it says you can't start streaming. See the error logs to find out why. Okay, so I go to the error logs and they don't really tell me anything. So I'm going to be swapping between a couple of scenes here. You're going to see a whole bunch of different things here today while I kind of get this working. But I figure if I wait for this to be perfect, it's never going to be perfect. But all right, I guess let me first things first, let me test my own audio. How do I even do that here? Guess I just go to youtube.com/thedontech. Oh, okay. I just heard myself. So that's not bad. All right. I think the gain is pretty high. I don't want it to be too high, but I don't want it to be too low at the same time. And I want to make sure nothing else is coming through on the desktop. Good, good, good. Cool. All right, well, now I can finally relax just a smidge while I get some other stuff ready. But I've got my nice little Control, Alt. I got to remember the camera's over here. Control, Alt, Delete. And mug. I'm probably going to be changing camera outputs, moving things around, because I have a couple of different scenes. I'm getting it set up to do repairs. I have this little Elgato, I don't even know what his name is. I have another one in the box. This little thing, an HD 460X. This is what I've got. And I plan on using that to connect laptops as I repair and work on them to show you exactly what I'm doing with them. I'm looking here, but I know I need to look here. The camera's pretty far away. So I need to change the camera angles. I have another camera over here, and I have a camera up here. So but we'll just be chilling. I think I can get rid of some of these windows over here. I also realized that I want to have another monitor somewhere over here, but I can't because I don't have a long enough HDMI cable. Because the fun joys of this whole thing is that when I have a computer back here, this is my computer on the wall, and I'm not facing it, I have all the wires going down the wall, behind the bench, all the way over here, connecting in front. That requires extremely long cables. So another thing I'm going to do today is go on Amazon and buy myself like a 15-foot-ish, maybe 20, 25-foot HDMI cable is probably what I will need. So one of the things that I was also thinking of doing is configuring the monitors in a different way. Because right now I've got a monitor here that's the primary monitor if I'm going to do editing or something like that. I've got another monitor here that is focusing on Streamlabs and everything, so I can kind of see, make sure it's all good, look at the chat, everything like that. Keep that pretty simple and see all the scenes and all those things. And then I want to get another monitor up here above my primary monitor. I forgot why, though. It was a good reason. I just forget why. Also, I don't know if a coffee at this time is necessarily the best thing or anything that I need, but, you know. All right. Okay, well, let me see here. And also, this is my first time using OBS to actually kind of like do what I'm trying to do. I have it set up for multiple streams, where eventually we'll add in Twitch and Kick and TikTok. I don't know what else we'll all add, but eventually it will be multi-stream, so everything can be there. But let's see. Let me test another scene real quick to make sure everything is all good. This one. Aha. This scene is pretty cool. It took me a while to get it set up the way that I wanted it to get set up. Do I have my microphone? I do. Okay, good. Gotta make sure I have my microphone. This scene is a fun scene because this is going to be the repair scene that I've previously done with other streams. So that'll be really, really fun, really neat to go ahead and do. I'm going to have it set up where just kind of how it is. What's being used right now is my old phone. And I don't know how good it is, so I need to look back on the VOD and I need to see if it's going to be actually tangible, good quality, or if I have to go to another device. But I don't mind this device. The phone, it's pretty easy. It's connected with IV cam or something like that, so it's wireless. I want to get it wired, but upon looking it up, it looks like if I get it wired, I also have to turn off wired charging, which I wouldn't want. I kind of want to be able to have it charge and do data at the same time. When I have it connected right now to my computer, it is not showing up on my PC as a device. So I might be using just a data only cable, not a data and power cable. But yeah, this is a scene I'm pretty excited about. I'm working on the lights and everything like that. I don't have the stuff in the background because I like the background. I think it looks pretty good. I'm not too worried about having that. I need to figure out where the everything goes though. It's amazing having such a gigantic desk with all these things, but not enough space to do anything for it. But yeah, I'm really excited about trying some of these live streams to see how they go. Bring new life to the channel in a sense. Bring more stuff where people can learn things about repairs. And I know that one of the videos I'm going to do when I get everything all configured, which I might do during this stream to configure it, is with this Elgato capture card. I want to show you guys how to install Windows 11 on a computer that doesn't even accept Windows 11. I've got one that I mentioned in a previous video, and I'm excited to see how that goes. I should have also brought water instead of just Happy Juice. It's coffee, not Happy Juice. I forgot that Happy Juice can mean different things. Also, I should probably use the cup holder. So let's see. But I like the way that this is looking for now. I can also theoretically zoom in. No? Maybe if I go on it, I can maybe zoom in. But that'll be kind of cool. I might also be able to control it in the software somewhere to kind of give me like some controls and zooms. But that's a little bit more fancy than I'm expecting. But yeah, this is my new studio setup. I'm filming videos in this capacity now. Granted, I have not filmed another video with this monitor side by side, so I'll have to see how that goes. And I also wouldn't mind having like some background music, some like lo-fi, lo-fi, whatever it would be. But I don't know if that's going to be something that that might detract more than it would help, especially if we're going to be doing cuts in the future. So I know I need to go on Amazon. I know I need to order an HDMI cable. I also have a tape measure to see how it is. Oh, how's the bit rate too? I haven't really checked that. Bit rate 6200. That's exactly what we want to see. I haven't streamed in at least a year here, and maybe even more than a year, I think, for Up-Tilt Gaming. So I need to get my wits about me to figure out what it all is. But I do have to say, Stream Elements takes so far fewer resources. I mean, it's using 1.3% of my CPU, getting good everything. I don't have a lot of scenes or everything like that set up in here, though. It's not really that fancy. Let's see, I think if we were to do editing PC, a sneak peek. All right, there was no audio on that one. But the plan, hello, is to be over here if I'm doing edits. So I'll have like Premiere in all this black space will be like Premiere, or when I'm doing YouTube-y things, answering content questions, all those sort of things will kind of be here. So I've got a camera on this side for it, while I've also got a camera on the other side. But because I'm not really sure what I'm doing yet, I'm going to just keep it on the repair section, because I feel like if people come through and they see the repairs, it's going to look like, oh, An open laptop. He knows what he's doing. Not really. Not really. But first, though and foremost, actually, let's go back to the intermission and the talking head section here. So what we're going to be doing, I know that from the desk down is 6 feet, give or take. Oh, wait, I need to make sure I know what type of monitor I need. I am probably decent to do this. I don't know. I don't normally have the camera angle in this way, and I don't normally stand up and walk around all that much, but I need to see if I need to get HDMI or DVI. No, wait, the monitor, hold on. All right, first things first. We need to figure out what we need on here. So this monitor can only take HDMI. This is a big old 32-inch display. It can only take HDMI. All right, so that can only take HDMI, which means these two monitors, I think, have to be display ports, but I think they're both HDMI right now. But I've got a display port adapter there. I need to like open up some paperwork to figure out where I'm at. I might have an HDMI cable long enough then, because the HDMI will come down. Yeah. So one HDMI will be there, one display. So I need those are both HDMI. All right, I got it. Got it. Know what I need. So I need a long old cable. I need a like a 20-foot-ish. Let's see, so 6, 12, 18, probably 25 feet. 30 feet would be really good, but probably 25 foot of a cable. Oh, I should do, well, no, I don't want to do shopping. And you guys see the shopping, because if you see the shopping, then it shows things I'm not ready to show. Not that, so let's see. Probably 30 foot. And then what I have to do, I have to take the computer off the wall, maybe, and I have to route it down all the way through the wall, because I got a little conduit that's just kind of barely below camera there. And that's going to be a pain. And I also have a USB 3 that I have to do that too as well, because everything is USB 3. Every single thing is USB 3. Got the capture dealy thing here is USB 3, Stream Deck, the camera, my phone, Wave XLR, all these things. So, and if we get to it today, this computer is a very interesting computer. I'll be excited to go into that one because I'm trying to figure out something with this particular computer. It's a really nice system, but I need to figure out why it's not working correctly. So maybe we'll get to that in a little bit as well, after I find the type of cable that I need. Why are they $40 for a 30-foot DVI cable? Not DVI, DisplayPort. Goodness gracious. Like, surely I've ordered some of these before. I might even have a long DisplayPort cable. I'm not even sure. Oh, okay. The longest I've purchased seems to be 15 feet. And that was probably for delete setup. And then I got a 10-foot for my setup. This is in a different room with another PC. Hmm. Okay, well, I will just add one to the cart. That red would be pretty nice, I think. It also doesn't matter, I guess, the actual amazingness of the display, because all it is just running from one to just a standard, you know, it might be a 2K monitor or my 120 hertz display. I don't know which one's it's going to go to yet, but they don't need to be that fancy. I found one for 23 bucks. Does 16K, 10K, 8K at 60 hertz, 2K at 240 hertz, and it could arrive tomorrow. All right, we'll do that. Cool. Then that'll be just one less thing I have to worry about. Then I'm gonna get another laptop, and I'm gonna try to see about connecting that laptop to the screen to kind of show you guys, which means I need to install this, which means I might need to get some driver software for it. I have no idea. All right. So how is everybody doing today on this fine Thursday? Why is my phone ringing? Kudos to you if you can recognize that ringtone. Why? Why? Always suspected spam. Nobody ever calls me. It's always suspected spam. All right, got that. Okay, cool. So that has been ordered, and that is all set and ready to go. Perfect, perfect deal. So now we can work on some of the other things. So I am present, even if I'm not here. Should I put like a little logo, a little banner that says like, I am here, even if you can't see me, I'm here. I don't want people to come into just nothingness. It is nice though having this desk. I really like this new setup that I've done. And boy. Now you can see how coordinated I am. I like having all these things and organized though. And I really love this new setup. It's working much nicer than the other setup was. And if you notice this chair, it is the chair from Uptilt Gaming. It has not been used in a year and a half. And it's starting to, you know, lose some of its beauty. But that's okay. That's how it goes sometimes. I don't mind. So the goal today too, I'm going to stream probably for another hour or two-ish, give or take, depending on what I need to get done and how everything is going. I want it to be quasi-entertaining, but I also want to be productive with it. So get my feet wet, but I would love to start regularly streaming repairs, questionnaires, all those sort of things as the time permits. Wait, what do I need for this one? Oh, no. This thing. Okay, so it's going to require the USB, obviously, for the data and the power, an HDMI in, and then I got to feed this HDMI to the computer. I hadn't really thought about that, so I need another. Maybe if I do that, I'll disconnect my big monitor up there and I'll connect this instead. Then I don't have to worry about it. That's 4 devices. Or do I want to get another? Because it's already 2. I don't know. That is a future me, future stream problem. So I don't even think I can actually set that up then and show it if I don't have a spare HDMI. And it's not even the length that would be the problem at this point. Let me see here. Nope. I don't think I can necessarily do that. That'll be fun though. Let me see what cables I have, because I'm surely I've got something that can make it work. Trying to bang into everything on the way here. All right, so I've got a nice big old bin here. You know what? Let's actually go through the bin together. That could be fun. Do the top down. Yeah. Kind of see what we got here. So I know I've got plenty of HDMI cables. I've got plenty of different cables out the wazoo. What I really need though is a DisplayPort adapter or a HDMI to DisplayPort cable. Because I'm gonna put these on in my lap. Why do I have so many cables? I have no earthly idea. Maybe I'll need them at some point, but probably I will not. There's a nice DisplayPort. This must be the 10-foot cable that I bought and I never used. I feel like the only one that I would have is actually at work. This is not bad. This is a DVI to HDMI. But I don't have what I need. All right, well, back to Amazon we go. I think I bought one of those recently, actually. It was a 4K DisplayPort to HDMI adapter. That could work, but how many cables do I have? Never mind. If I buy one of those, it should work just fine. So let me go ahead and buy another one of those adapters. Amazon is going to love me today. Okay. Cool. All right. Got those things all set and on order. That will help. Then hopefully I can get everything done the way it needs to be done. So thank you all for your patience while I figure out life. And then if y'all haven't noticed on my channel, Delete, my lovely wife, does a lot of editing. What are these? My gosh. Does a lot of editing for me. And I absolutely love, cherish, and adore her for every single thing she edits. It's amazing. Error, YouTube is not responding. What? Why is YouTube not responding? Is everything okay? I can't tell if everything is okay. I hope everything has been okay. I just see it says an error, but it's not telling me what the error is. Now it says excellent, but it was an error previously. No idea. Okay, so if I do a repair, I need to have kind of an intro. That light, I need to move that light. I need to move that light further away because I come closer and it just like glares out my forehead. Oh, but back to my wonderful wife, Delete. And that camera also needs to come in a little bit, I think. But she so nicely edits most of my repair videos, and I absolutely love it. So maybe I can focus on a repair to have some content. That would be nice. Because I can't do really anything else I wanted to do because I don't have enough cables. So I guess I can do a generic intro. That way Delete can pull from the footage as necessary to talk about it, you know? That could be kind of fun. So we have it all set. So it's like, let me make that a little bit nicer. What should it be? Like a... What's up, everybody? It's the Don with the Don Tech, and today I'm going to be reviewing... How do I mess that up? How do I already mess that up? This is what Delete has to deal with, by the way. Whenever she goes through some of my other stuff that's not live, she has to deal with like all these just constant issues. I have to deal with it too, but oh my goodness. So, take two. What's up, everybody? It's the Don with the Don Tech, and today I'm going to try to figure out what is wrong with this Acer laptop. That'd be kind of a good intro, you know? Now, this particular Acer, if I'm not mistaken, let's see, it was manufactured in 2023. So it's really not that old of a computer at all. And it seemingly works. When it's connected to, guess what? You guessed it, HDMI. It works just fine. I just want to have a little spot for these screws. It'll work just fine when it's connected to HDMI, but the display out does not work. There do not seem to be any cracks on the display, and there do not seem to be any issues with the cable, but I still don't get any... There's one more screw. I still don't get any display out when the computer's turned on. But if you plug it in via HDMI, here, you will get video out no problem. So that indicates one of three failures. Failure number one would be the display. Failure number two would be the display cable. Failure number three would be the port on the actual motherboard. Unfortunately, you can't really rule these issues out without replacement parts. And this Acer, as annoying as it is this one that can rotate all the way? No, but it can go pretty flat. If you do a little I Spy with me, there's no screws holding this in place. And because there's no screws holding this in place, it means that it's going to be adhesively bonded, which is annoying in and of itself. But if you notice, there's no pull tabs anywhere here that I can see. I see a little dent here, so maybe that's what caused an issue, but it's not on the screen. There's no pull tabs. I've looked, I've checked, I've scoped it really close up. I do not see a single daggone pull tab. And because I don't see any pull tabs, I can't remove the screen. Now, you can remove the screen in a one-way disassembly where you will damage it and by breaking it and prying up underneath it. And I wouldn't recommend using a heat gun to heat up the adhesive on the back here because you have to use so much heat to get through this chassis here that you will actually usually malform the actual screen itself and burn the screen itself before you start to loosen the adhesive. So I wouldn't recommend doing that either. But I am concerned that the LCD is maybe disconnected down here somehow, even though it does seem like it's taped in. But if the LCD connection is disabled or disconnected from the actual LCD itself, you also will not get any display. So some of the troubleshooting steps we've talked about, you know, what you do, connect it to HDMI to see if you can get video out. If you can, that means that the video chip itself is okay. I don't even know if the system has any charge left in it. It's been sitting for a while. But it's not a bad laptop. It's an Aspire Lite. There's no specs on here at all, except it's a Ryzen 5000 Series 5 laptop. But it's got, I think, 8 or 16 gigs of RAM here. It's got a removable SSD. It's got a slot for an NVMe somewhere here, right here. And it's very modular besides the DC jack, which is annoyingly, that's what I thought, right there, and soldered on. And because it's soldered on, you can't really, you know, replace that part. But everything else is modular. That's fantastic. That's really hard to find in a lot of these laptops, except the screen isn't modular. So I don't know what I'm necessarily going to do, but to rule this one out exactly, you would kind of have to take the screen out. You got to get the part number on the back of the screen, go on eBay, as I say. That's how you source parts now, is through eBay. And then you want to buy it, replace it, and kind of go from there. But I don't know what we're feeling today. I'm a little bummed that there's no pull tabs. There's no screws to remove this. Do we just take a pry tool and try to yank this sucker out of here? and show the real life damage that happens to these things, I think we might as well do it. The screens, and I can maybe even show searching up, yeah, I'll try to get a screen on here. I'll show searching up the part on eBay. Great content, awesome content. You're welcome, Delete, I love you. And we'll pry the sucker out of here. We'll find the part on eBay. I'll eventually think of buying the part on eBay and then, you know, kind of going from there. But the part should be 70 bucks or so, maybe a little bit less. This is just a 1080p full HD display, so it's nothing too fancy. So let's see what I've got. Trying to keep things organized here. Let's see what we got. It is never difficult to get things out. Okay, so what we've got here, is it easier to show it here? Probably here, is a little plastic spudger pry tool. These can easily wear, so you kind of want to be careful. This one's already getting some wear on it. And then you have a metal spudger pry tool. I love that automatic focus of that. That's really cool. And these spudgers are nice because they will get you what you need, and they will pry it open, but it'll cause more damage. So try to make some room here. Try to, okay, because I would like to also see myself, but I want to make sure that when I'm looking, I'm not like over the actual screen, right? First time doing it in this new setup. So to source the screen, I'm going to take the metal spudger here, which I wouldn't recommend doing the metal spudger, you know, because you will break it. But the tape usually is something that runs along down the sides here, and there's usually a little pull tab. And those pull tabs rarely work anyway, but they allow you to get just enough to pull it out, and like those 3M strips, it'll expand, it'll stretch and loosen the adhesive, and then it will allow the screen to come out when it's there. So here, let's just go ahead and put the little pry tool in. I mean, it's really adhered in there. Now, if we can get this out though, without causing any cracks, that would be really, really cool. Usually you want to disconnect the battery, but you know, do as I say, not as I do. Oh wait, maybe I got a little bit of adhesive. Okay. Nope, it just broke. But see this little black speck on my finger? That is the adhesive that I'm talking about. I might have it though. Right here, pay attention to the bottom. Left here, I have some adhesive. I'm gonna try to pull it. It's gonna keep on pulling. It's gonna go for an extremely uncomfortable long period of time, unless it's a really short piece. Thank you for embarrassing me in front of Vanessa. Was that it? Okay, so it's gonna have, this one's gonna have 4 pieces of adhesive. It's gonna be one in this corner, that corner, and this corner. Usually they have one long strip of adhesive that goes all the way down both sides. Why manufacturers choose to do these things in this different way, I have no idea. But that might make it a little bit easier because we don't have this long strip. Now with this adhesive here, my elbow, is there is some plastic. Did I show it better here? Maybe, kind of, not really. There's some plastic that's hard on here that'll allow you, you're supposed to be able to pull that out to get it to stretch. I don't see that anywhere here. So let's carefully rotate the screen and try to get this other section out. But knowing we don't have to go that far down is kind of nice. But I'm applying even, easy pressure, trying to anyway, without causing any cracks or breaks. Also trying to see with a microphone in my face. Okay, that one we can just kind of pop up. Sorry, that wasn't in the frame itself. That one we can just pop up. This plastic is on the side. See that? See, it just ripped right there. This is that little plastic bit with a little bit of adhesive on it. It just ripped straight off the actual display. I'll leave that on the back there so we can see it when we pull the screen up. You want to be especially careful if you're going to be prying though around the base here, because you have the video cable that's running up through here, and this video cable is connected usually with some sort of adhesive on the actual LCD. And if you pull too hard, you can break the connections, which isn't a big deal if the screen is broken, but if you break the connections on the actual cable itself, then you got to replace the cable. Those aren't expensive, but it's nicer to only replace what you have to versus having to pay a whole bunch more to replace things than you need. So if this can just pop up though. Also, knowing is half the battle. So knowing that I'm only dealing with a really small adhesive strip, that helps a ton. We have the final adhesive strip over here, just applying gentle force. And we, at this point, do not have a single crack, and the LCD is loose. Except it kind of re-adhered at the bottom left here. There we go. All right. So the annoying part that I'm talking about, these little deals right here. See this right here? This is a little plastic pull tab that you're supposed to be able to pull, and this is what's supposed to happen. See, you're supposed to pull it and it's supposed to stretch it. I'll try to get a better one with this one down here if we can to show you, but you're supposed to be able to grab onto it, pull it, stretch it, and it releases. It just rips. It's terrible, terrible stuff. So you just have this adhesive that just doesn't want to come off. It's not even like wanting to stretch. I feel like this one, they want you to pull upward, but guess what you can't do? When the LCD is flush against the rear bezel here, you can't actually do that. So, but get these little pieces of adhesive out of here. The screen itself, if it's okay, should be fine. And then we're going to investigate. You know, having another camera that I could like zoom in on, that'd be really, really cool. Future notes. But let's go ahead and see if I can do this in a way that is not terrible. Where are we at? Where's the screen? Oh, not there. There we go. That's the LCD display cable itself, and that is held in pretty securely by tape, it looks like. But it doesn't mean that it still doesn't need to be reseated. I'll try to find an AC adapter. I should have one for this line around somewhere that'll work, some sort of ACE or AC adapter. And then I can reseat this. This is called reseating the connection, because it's not even held in by a little retention support metal piece here. It's just kind of there. But visually, it looks fine. So you just unplug it, line it back up, plug it back in, and then it should be fine. So what we'll do is I'm gonna go find a AC adapter real quick, plug it in, and just see if we get video from that reseating. If not, we'll source it and go from there. Where's Well, that's fun. What is up, Protein Bar? Protein Rivieri? Nice to see you, nice to see you. I have 50,000 AC adapters. Not a single Acer one. I know I have this one. I just don't know where it is. I have, dang it, I have one that's kind of similar in the matching tip, but it's for a Lenovo. Toshibas and Acers usually share the same AC adapter types. But of course, I cannot find that adapter for the life of me. So let's see, does this take USB-C charging? Because if it takes USB-C charging, then I can just use one of those that I have. It just shows data. It doesn't show USB-C charging, so I don't want to fry anything there. This is classic situation 1 of 90 that I've been in today. So whatever that rule, that law is, like whatever can go wrong, will go wrong, is going wrong. I think I heard a ping when you spoke, or when you chatted something. I heard like a little ding, which would be, it shouldn't be coming over, but I don't want anything like that. All right, I have a very powerful, Murphy's Law, very powerful ASUS adapter. It does fit, so. All right, y'all, we're gonna science right now. Make sure it's got the, yep. It should work. We'll find out. Did not hear anything on your end? That's good. I didn't hear anything that time when you said it. I've got so many things making noise around here. Oh, the cable little thingy back here. Oh, it's not even plugged in. I'll do the wall. Okay, and, haha, power. Boom, it works. But we see here if we're gonna get any display. All right. It's not bad. It's at least illuminating. No, it was illuminating last time. That's what it was doing too. Yeah, it was illuminating. It just was not actually showing anything. It's been so long since I've worked on this laptop. Why, phone? Was it like a 50-minute thing? It's just like I gave up. I don't want to work anymore. The app doesn't want to open on my phone anymore. All right, let's see. I know we're waiting on the connection. All right, thank you for that. I appreciate the nonsensical disconnects for absolutely no reason. All right, so still not getting any display, but one of the things you can test, I'm hitting the caps lock, and by doing the caps lock, this light right here is illuminating. That tells me that it's at least responding to the keyboard, that it is in something other than just a no post scenario. So if you were pressing the caps lock and nothing were to show up, that might mean it's not even going into the post, not even handing off from the hardware to the software side, or going into the BIOS or anything like that. So the fact that it's doing that does say that it's in post. And if I had something that I could connect it to that was already on the system, I could actually show that it was inside, yada, yada, yada. But can't do that now. So that means that the display has a high probability of being bad, and that is the next step to roll out. So I'll go ahead and just hold the power button down here, turn the computer off. And we will get the LCD out. This one is taped in on both sides to make sure it really doesn't go anywhere. So I will say there's a weird sticker. I've never really seen this before. It's kind of cool. It probably will not show up in detail, but the sticker here is showing all the different part numbers for this laptop. At least I'm assuming. It's part number and Acer part number for things such as the motherboard, A through D cover, which is the back, front, top, bottom, cables, heat sinks, LCD. Here's the problem though. There's 4, I think. No, there's more than that. How can I count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 part numbers for the LCD cable. Or not the LCD cable, for the LCD display itself. How does that help? It either means that A, all 6 of these are compatible with this model, or here are the 6 variants we've used for this model series. Maybe they won't always work. So if you have something that's a touchscreen, high resolution, high refresh rate, the cable's not going to work. They also list 3 or 4 cables on here, and likewise, I don't think they would all necessarily work, because a lot of times when you connect, the cable here comes from here and it connects out to here. This connection here is usually going to be equivalent to what the LCD can handle. And if it's going to be taking touch, or if it's going to be doing something else, there might be another section here for the cable as well, or sometimes it's even a longer cable connection on the actual board. So usually the parts are not as interchangeable as I think they would want you to believe that they are. I'm running out of desk space. Okay, so here, can I? I'm gonna try to do a few things here. I'm gonna try to make this extremely fancy, extremely cool, and extremely neat. So I'm gonna add a browser source for, well, nope, I'm not gonna do that one, not that browser source. I always forget. They say browser source, but what I actually want is a no? What did I want? I don't know what I wanted. I thought it was that same thing. I thought there was a browser source, and then there was something else that was like browser source, but not quite. So maybe a window capture? Okay, yeah. Brave browser. I like using Brave because I don't use that for anything else. And I think it had to be a Brave private window. Is that what it showed? Oh, just new tab. Okay, there we go. New tab. Well, I'm already actually in the I'm already in the private one, so I'm just going to go ahead and change that to the private. Boom. We probably want that to be pretty big, though. We want this to be zoomed in, if at all possible. Can I do that here, or do I have to do it on the... Whoa, okie dokie. I don't know. I hit 2 different... Well, oh, geez, that's a blur. Make that automatic, please. And then that's the zoom. Okay. Well, hold on. I would prefer you being in the actual screen. Can I just... Let's do... There we go. That'll be fine. And then make Brave... a little bit bigger here. Okay. This will be as good as it's going to look for now. And we'll have some fun. So what we have here is sourcing the LCD from this Acer laptop. Fix my posture, make sure that's all good. There's a lot of different numbers on the bottom here for this screen. And you might be looking to me like, okay, what the heck are all these numbers? So at the top here is the universal number, that NT156FHM-N6V8.0. That's like the manufacturer's number for this screen. That's the generic for anything on this screen, because this screen can go into hundreds of different types of laptops. So when you're looking for it, you mainly want to match that number. Something down here, you have a PN, that's a part number, and then FRU, which is, I don't know what that means, but it's X'd out, so it doesn't even matter. So the PN would be probably the part number linking it to Acer specifically. If we cross-reference this part number with what's on the actual screen, we'll probably find an exact match, but it doesn't have to be an exact match because this screen, it's this exact screen, it's just branded with this part number for this particular manufacturer. That's usually probably what Acer would use versus what somebody like you would use. But both of those numbers will get you what you want to get. And then this number down here, that looks like a 8SSD. That one is probably just going to be the serial number itself for this particular screen. So we don't need to worry about that. And then that one up there, the RMA, I don't know what that would be. You don't need to use any of those. What we're going to do is go into Brave here. We're going to go to eBay. Is that going to be big enough? That seems really, really small. Let's zoom in, I guess. We'll make it kind of easy that way. So we're going to go on eBay, and we're going to go ahead and do a search here for the screen. Let's be NT156FHM-N61. And see how they populate? They automatically populate with what is a common search result. So you want to make sure that you're going to be finding the one that is exactly matched, where that we have that version 8.0. That's what we want to look for, because that's exactly what matches here. And there may be some that don't match in that way. And it's like, oh, okay, it's kind of similar. So when you find it, you want to make sure that what you found that has 276 results for that exact screen. And right here, $50 for this screen from LCD Bros. It's exactly what we're going for. It's the 30 pins LCD LED, comes with tools, and it's exactly that, the NT156FHM-N61 version 8.0. And if you scroll down, you'll find more vendors that have the same thing, and they might also compare it with other different models now, like this XQ, which is not this part number right here. I want to look up that one as well, just so I can show you guys what it is. But when you're searching through eBay, usually the first results, especially if they show up here, that there are results, are going to be what you need to get for the screen, and it will match what you're going for. Sometimes though, if you take out the version 8.0, they might show it, but they might not always show the 8.0. Like this one right here says 8.1. Does that mean they will not be compatible? Not necessarily, but you always want to get a one-to-one part source, so that way you know you're getting the exact part that you need. If you get anything else, any deviance, if there was any change in anything whatsoever, and these manufacturers decided to do it in a different way, you're going to be the one that's wasting your time and wasting your money. That's all there is to it. And then if you make like a, let's say you just get rid of more than half of it, there's 1,700 different results. And it's also including results from whatever that says here, the NT156FHM. Like spaces, I guess, and everything. So spaces and not spaces. So this is probably more of a generic thing, but we found, we didn't have AQ screen in there in the beginning. They've got a different part number right there. And this one is possibly the same exact thing. It says Lenovo LCD. It doesn't really matter. This one is a Acer, and Lenovo might be the manufacturer of these. No, I don't think Lenovo doesn't make the screen. I don't know who makes the screen, but next thing we're going to do is search up that other number. Here, let me see if I can zoom in on that while keeping some of the clarity. Well, okay. That is a really, really small thing to see there. And then I'm going to be shaking it every single time I move something because the camera's moving. So what that looks like to me, 5D10R 41287. So you see how there's already 4 different ones that are populated? That probably matters. So we just hit the 7. All right, that was the last one. 7, enter. Okay. And it does show very similar screens. First one, we have a by LCD Tech, and about the same price. But all of these say OEM Lenovo. Ours is an Acer, so that could trip you up a little bit. But they might have used the same parts, even that same part number, in other displays, in other units. So what I liked, though, was the first one that we did, this one right here, the 8.0. That was like the best one to find what we need. It's $50 for a screen, which is pretty worth it to test to see if that would be the problem, and then we go from there. So that is how I diagnose systems. A lot of times you need parts to rule things out, and if I were to buy this part and then it didn't work, what I would do is go over here to the laptop itself, and I would find this LCD cable, and likely on the inside, right here, which is going to be impossible to get to show up. This right here, there's going to be a model number or a part number on this that you can get for the LCD cable. It's unlikely for it to be the LCD cable that's going to be the problem. You're probably going to be looking at more so the screen, then maybe the board, then the LCD cable. So I will also find the outro for something like that. All right, let's see. So I do not need Brave browser anymore. And then I need to reset this to defaults, which I think those, whoa, calm down now. Is that it? That's a little bit further than it was. I think we're kind of going like something like that. That's pretty good looking. Maybe, no, a little bit further out. Because that way it doesn't, I don't have to worry about myself being as much. So, whew, that was a lot of information in that one. I like it. Unfortunately, that is one computer that we don't get to fix today. I'm trying to dangerously pick something up here. I'm excited though. This LCD, not LCD, I say the same words incorrectly several times. This particular brick for this Asus laptop is fantastic. That's what I'm gonna be bringing up here at some point when I work on my, when I work on my Asus laptop and I do the Windows 11 upgrade to it. I need to make a flash drive, but I'd like to show you guys how the flash drive gets made. I feel like that would be good information so you can do it yourselves. And then all the screws that we had, I'm just gonna dump them on the base there so I know they all belong in the same spot. I'll probably save that link and keep it. That way I can have myself buy an LCD at some point, and then we could continue the diagnosis and see, but I have to figure out, is it actually worth it to spend, you know, $50 on an LCD? All right. Phew. Well, that's one thing on my list done. No, I actually did. I did several things. I ordered some things. It's not bad, not bad. Anybody else hear weird noise, or is that just me? I know you guys aren't hearing what comes from my desktop studio, my desktop audio, because that's muted, but another laptop I have that has some screen issues is this nice little dealie here. It's one that automatically turns on. It's got a crack in the screen, and it also doesn't show up. Another breakaway. When I have the VOD, this will be fun to make these breaks of we have another piece of content and another piece of information that we can make videos out of and a short out of. So, because this is a Samsung laptop that has cracks and is not getting display, so I want to show you how to open this display or how to open the laptop so you can access the display, look up the parts, source it, swap it out. Not bad, not bad. I have all the tools here already, so it kind of makes sense to do that, except I'm missing a screwdriver. Haha, I have a screwdriver. The other one was already open, so I didn't need that. So this particular laptop has that crack in the display, and these Samsungs are pretty easy to open. What they've got are these 4 little rubber pads around the outline of the laptop, and all you gotta do is remove those 4 little rubber pads. It's super easy to do. There we go. Just held in by a little bit of adhesive. That one was not held in by adhesive. Neither was that one. This one was, okay. So the top 2 are held in by adhesive. It's not about knowing everything. It's just about knowing how to accomplish the things with the knowledge that you have. So when you reveal these 4 little screws, they're just going to be standard Phillips head screws, probably pH 0 or something like that. I'm doing this also from a very odd angle. I was going to put one in each. The lighting is not as good for me as it is for you guys. And I don't really want to move, so I'm just trying to find the threading. Okay, all right, fine. Fine, I'll move. And these screws are all the same screw, so you don't have to pay attention to which one goes where. But when you open up some laptops, you do want to pay attention to the screws and where they go, because some are longer than others and some are thicker than others. And you can usually get a screw to go where you want it to go, but it doesn't always guarantee that it's not going to break something in the process. Did I lose a screw? No. Right there. So with those 4 screws removed, the laptop should open. Yeah, geez. Laptop should open relatively easily. Just open it up a little bit, give a little bit of external force, pop it on out. That easy. Boom. So the concern with this laptop is it's not getting any video or illumination, but it is getting touch. And it does display out, again, not via HDMI, because this one doesn't have HDMI. So you have to use a, did I mess up the autofocus thing? I might have messed that up. But this one doesn't have HDMI, it only has USB-C ports. So because of that, you have to use an adapter. But this cable over here is probably going to be the display cable. And then this one over here is probably going to be the touch, or reverse it, whatever it may be. So just give a quick little reset on those. Probably make sure the battery's disconnected before you do these things. Yeah, again, do as I say, not as I do. I'm just going to give a little test here. So it's turning on, and we'll hear the chime probably, but still no display. And this one, unfortunately, is a lot more difficult to rule out than the traditional systems. Let's see, traditional screens, because it is manufactured as all one solid piece from Samsung. So while it's potential that you could take this out, you could remove this bottom bezel strip here, remove the glass panel, remove the LCD, and then swap them, it's going to be a lot more of a hassle to do that, and you're not going to get a fit, clean finish, because this is how they come from the manufacturers. Clean, crisp, all made as one piece. Not meant to really be replaced by human hands, because we can't quite imitate that accuracy and that precision. And unfortunately as well, that would also mean that this particular laptop does not have easily available part information on it. Now, the cabling itself, though, might give us some of the information that we would need, and that could be kind of nice. But first, it's going to be figuring out what connects to where, because you have a couple more points of potential failure, because the system, I believe, did experience some sort of a drop, or not liquid, but some sort of a drop event. So let's just remove this cable here and see what it says. Which I want us to be able to see it together, but I'm so blind I can't see it unless I like go really forward. Okay, this doesn't tell me anything. Let's see what the other one says. All right, this one says LCD cable. So this is going to be the actual LCD cable itself. And then this one is probably going to be the actual touch screen cable, because a lot of times they can be separate cables, but sometimes they are actually integrated. So the touch is on this side, which the touch works. So we know that this daughter board is okay. We know that this cable is okay. So that's not been affected. It's the screen that's not displaying anything out. So this cable is not really concerned to be a problem, but probably the entire LCD assembly itself. So let's see. Let's bring back Brave. Where's my mouse? Cool. Okay, back to Brave. And I'm not going to pretend that we're going to be able to see this together. I'm not going to pretend that this is going to be easy to see. I'm not going to pretend that I can even read it correctly. There's something here that looks like an SEC SN. And it's going to start with a BA-39, I think. Apologies on that one. -015117A. So 6 results. So we did get kind of something that we're looking for. So we have a LCD cable for the Samsung Galaxy Book Flex Alpha. Which, okay, so the entire cable is everything. It's one solid cable. I mean, it should be one solid cable as it connects from the actual display, but I don't know what I was thinking of then. And then what is that? What is that little thing? You got this? No, no, it is one thing. Okay, one section here. The one goes to the... Because that is too far away for this to line up. So there's going to be independent cables coming from the LCD itself. This is just the cable. So one of these here, probably this one here, connects to the LCD. This one connects to the board. This one connects over here. I don't know what that would be. And then this connects somewhere else on the actual screen itself. So these two connect to the screen. This one's the board, and then this one is going down here to the, I don't know what that is. Huh. Does this middle click not want to work too? I love these little mice, but the middle clicks on them want to give me problems all the time. Interesting, interesting. So let's go ahead and search for the... Actually, maybe this will tell us what type of computer it is. This one, I don't recommend doing this, but you can, in some situations, do it for this one. We're going to search for the model number of this computer, which is going to be over here. You're not going to be able to see it. I can barely see it. I'll read it off as I see it. So it's going to be an NP9 50Q DB. And as you can see, we're kind of finding exactly what we're going for. We want an LCD assembly. The assembly means it's the entire kit. So it's an AMOLED full HD 1920 by 1080 screen. Note, no bezel. That's not quite exactly the LCD assembly now, is it? That also doesn't seem to match exactly what we're going for. Now this has something more of what we're going for. It's silver, ours is blue. It doesn't really matter, but this is probably more in line with what we're looking at here. So LCD module, touchscreen display assembly, Samsung NP950QDB, blue. It doesn't include this little cable though. I don't know what that is. That's the problem with these manufacturers also making these assemblies and these computers that are all just as they are. They're not actually user interchangeable. They can't be manufactured by other manufacturers. There's no aftermarket parts. It's all having to be OEM, which is good when things are OEM, but it's bad when they're OEM in a way that makes it so that the market is cornered. But you'd select blue is out of stock, okay? But burgundy, so you're talking $520 for just the screen. Now this laptop could have been relatively expensive in and of itself, so it could maybe be worth it, but you also have to really make sure that that is the problem. We know this system has a crack in it, so that would probably resolve that. Well, it would resolve the crack, but probably the display issues as well. But I don't think it's worth it to put that much money into this unit. So you would probably be better off, in my experience, in some capacity, taking this unit, separating the LCD from the base, removing functionality of portability, and plugging it into an external monitor and just using it somewhere there. Maybe connecting a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, then you have a system, because this should be a pretty powerful system, I think. Let's do some, let's just look up this model real quick and see about what it might have come with, roughly, right? So this is a Galaxy ProBook 360, I guess it is. Thin as a smartphone, powerful as a PC, until it breaks. AMOLED, which doesn't matter. All those sort of things don't matter. So we're just really going for the other specs of the system. They really don't want to tell you what's in it, do they? It does say available options up there, though. So, okay, it looks like maybe i7 and 16 gigs. The RAM is soldered in, so that won't be interchangeable at all. But an i7 isn't terribly bad. So this is an i7 11th gen processor. I mean, for just a system that's like lying around the house, you just connect an extra display to, that's not a bad computer overall. And then 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM, 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. That's probably just a generic test SSD that was put in there. It says 2 SSD slots. Yep, 1, 2. And all the other standards that may or may not necessarily apply in our use case scenario. But I don't think $500 is worth it to replace this part. You got to really be in love with this laptop to consider doing something like that. Because you can probably buy new ones today. I mean, I've never really looked up Samsung laptops, so I don't know how much they would cost. But even still, let's see, search Galaxy Book, the so-called book. Galaxy Book laptop. Well, it's not Hong Kong. It's to USA, so I won't be able to do the conversion pricing. That's the problem with doing, like, I love private browsing, but at the same time, it's so weird. I mean, Core Ultra 7, 512 gig SSD, $1,000. That seems to be the better deal. It still has 16 gigs of RAM. It doesn't have as big of an SSD, but that's fine. But it has a Core 7 Ultra. Oh, but it's not a 360. Does that really make a big deal? Was ours a Pro? Was it just like just a Samsung? I don't know if it was a Pro. But the Pro 360, where it can do the flippy flip. So this is probably more in line with what the system costs, $1,700, or much less if you get the Pro version for whatever reason. Yeah. Do not bother repairing this laptop. It would not be worth it. I might find a way to use this as a standalone sort of thing, though. It could be a cool system to do something with, but I have a pile of laptops over there that I have the same idea of doing things with. So, all right, well, this one then, I'm going to leave the cables disconnected because it won't really matter. Honestly, putting this one back together either doesn't really matter right now, especially if I'm going to disconnect the base, because that would be easier if you need to use it in that way, to just fully disconnect the base, leave it as a laptop, and use it that way. So we will put that one over there. So again, thank you to Delete, who will eventually maybe watch this video and make some fun stuff for it. That'll be fun. I don't even know, how long have I been live? What's been going on here? Where do I see that? I've been live for some period of time. Does it not show how long I've been live? Oh, there we go. 1 hour, 24 minutes. All right, we'll see if I can find anything else to do. You don't want to make things long just for the sake of being long and lengthy. And I do have other things that I need to get before I can do some of the other things that I want to do. So the next live stream will probably be, I might try to get 2 in next week, where I can do one on the 25th and on the 28th. Probably have some more of these bugs taken out, so it's not going to be that much of a waiting fest. I was just thinking, do I need another HDMI? I don't think I do. But, all right, let's see. Let me see what else I got to do. I do have some other laptops to diagnose and work on, but I don't know how long those are going to take, so I'll probably plan those for another content time period, so that way I don't run out of things to do here. And also, this chat is really odd. The whole Streamlabs thing is really odd. It says like Elements Control Center. There are no elements in this scene. I don't even know what an element is. Wait, is it? Oh, no, it's not been recording, has it? It hasn't. It's supposed to do the recording and the thing. Oh, boy. Oh, gosh. It should be fine. I think this is going to be a VOD that goes up to YouTube. I'm pretty sure this is going to be something that goes up. Let me get rid of all these Brave browsers. How do I check that to make sure? Can I go over to my studio and go into the details? I'm going to scoot over here a little bit so I can see a little bit easier. Customization. Because I remember last time, no, I did it to Twitch. That's why they never showed up. It was on Twitch. I've not streamed to YouTube since I did World of Warcraft 7 years ago. So it should automatically be saved. Because there was some good stuff covered in this thing. I really hope it does show up. This has been good. It's been nice. So let me go to the settings here, because when we're doing the output recording, there was a setting to make it where it would do both at the same time, right? It would record and stream with a push of one button. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Automatically record when streaming. Okay, apply. Well, that will be next time. We'll get that video file. It should be fine, though. The plan is to make this into a video on demand after some slight edits with a thumbnail that should hopefully be coming a little bit later today or tomorrow. All right. That should be okay. Phew. What is it? So I have a chat, YouTube chat, multi-chat, YouTube live control panel, activity feed, and then everything else for me at the bottom. That seems a little excessive to me. I don't know. But I know that the moment you try to grab something in OBS and move it somewhere else, if you don't move it where it wants to go and it just gets it out of there, that's a little tricky. So let's go ahead and reply to some comments. Could I do that? I think I have some comments to reply to. I like to show those as well if I could, but I don't think that I can necessarily get that in an easy to show way right now while I'm actually streaming. So somebody said, nice video. I want to say, thank you, my friend. But it's been a lot of comments on YouTube videos. So I try to make sure I go to and I reply to every single person that I can, because that's something that is really, really nice. Brings a lot of engagement to the channel. And I like just interacting with you guys. It's really, really fun to do that. I love answering the computer questions and all these different things. Wait, I could go to the other editing PC. Ha. Now I'm closer when I do things, but I can't look at myself and see, how do I look here? Like, am I looking more at you? Because I can't tell, because the camera's on this side, the screen I'd see is over on this side. Maybe, actually, wait, let me do the power of that. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay. That is not bad of a connection setup there if I were to do some comments, which would fill this entire screen. All right, so I need to remind myself to add something to this one. This would be fine if we were doing Brave too. That could show up there, because I think I did have one where I'm doing a computer browse and it's like that, but I don't know. So that's kind of a nice one right there. It's so far away though. I need to move that. I need to move that. Cool deal. I think I can get rid of that. Is my mouse? Yeah, my mouse is showing up there. It's a little weird. It's like, hey guys, watch me do this. I'm also curious to know if this is really like fuzzy and bad because it's on Wi-Fi. But I don't plan on this being there all the time. Probably most is going to be something like this, when I'm just kind of like communicating. We have a bigger screen, bigger things to talk about, answering tech questions, and then using this as like a visual aid sometimes, not an all the time situation. And then likewise, when I edit on the PC, doing this system where I'll have my edits, you know, Adobe Premiere. Let me actually see if that will work. Premiere Pro 2021. That's what I'm here for, to test these scenes. All right, what? OBS. Okay. You don't want to show Premiere. Okay, let's go to this one so I can have that loaded up. Oh, okay. It had to load up, I think, before it would do it otherwise. So that's pretty cool. So this would be like maybe another scene that I'm working on where I do just edits. Maybe I could do the desktop audio and have that come through slightly when you see me go through and do some edits. Wait, how am I missing? I'm missing fonts. Oh, that's fine. I've been really heavily getting into like these things, whatever those are called, the essential graphics, but I don't have like any of the fonts for the essential graphics. So it just is what it is, I guess. But this is an upcoming video that's going to be released. This is a sneak peek, right? To Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about the Windows 10 updates, where they will allow you to freely get the Windows 10 and to support updates for free for a year. I'm much more coherent in the actual video than I am in this one. So that is what's going to be coming on Tuesday. Once I get the thumbnail all set for that, it's going to be a great video, and then we'll have a follow-up to it as well, which will be pretty sweet. So this is just a nice little thing of like what you can do, how you can enroll, and how we can extend some of the updates, and just extend the life of Windows 11 there. So Windows 10. But I think that's kind of cool. I saw Final Phase do this a long time ago. He would edit videos, he would just hang out, he would just chill and do work while he was streaming. And I thought that was a great way to get to know him, get to communicate with him, get to just learn about the streamer and just connect with your audience more. So I think something like that could be pretty cool. I just have to make sure that when I do it, I'm not like showing things that I don't want to show, be it, you know, all my content release schedule, all the way up to passwords. You know, I want to be very careful with all these things that I end up showing. But I think that could be cool because then it's a 2-for-1. Not only am I working on my channel, I'm also live streaming to the channel. So I'm getting to know you guys more while I'm doing those things. I mean, that's a really nice scenario there. Really great way to do those things. But it's going to be a matter of, let's go ahead and let's do does this show up on, can I even hear it? Yep. Okay, so that's a little low. Today I'm here to expand upon my other Windows 10 video, because I want you guys to be able to hear it, but at the same time, I don't want it to be overpoweringly loud, right? So it's my face right now, literally my face right now. But I'll have to look back at this and see when it's on YouTube, this section, if it's going to be too loud or not. Because I think Final did have it where you could hear what he was doing and hear what he was adding. And that adds another element of it. Because otherwise, if I'm just silent editing, it kind of doesn't really do much. So, but I like that. That's a scene idea that I have to get next. Because I have so much footage. I have so much footage. It's a lot of footage I have to go through. So much stuff. And then let me actually see here how it looks if I want to add something. Okay, so it doesn't show up. Let me just add an image here real quick. Okay, yeah, that's fine. It doesn't show anything that I don't want it to show. But again, do I look fine here? Does that look good? Good camera setup? I don't know. I'm gonna remove this from the wall. It doesn't fit there anymore. Probably gonna put it somewhere over on this side so it's out of frame. That's my computer up there. Isn't that cool? But I think that about does it for this stream. We're going up on hour 40. It's not too bad. And because I'm kind of just flat out of things to do. So I don't want to waste any time, but there's plenty of other things that I could end up doing. But yeah, that's pretty much all of it for today. I plan on going live again on Monday at some point. Hopefully it won't be as problematic. It'll look a lot nicer. Everything will be a little bit more succinct and everything there. So just roll my chair on over. It's not all that bad, not all that bad. So thank you again to Delete, who's going to do a wonderful job editing this video. I love you so much. Thank you for everybody who came out to this little test stream itself. Looking forward to doing more of these and getting to know you guys more and have more conversations. So hopefully the audio and everything was good. I'll be testing all these levels and addressing and enhancing anything as necessary. So thank you so much for everything that you've done. And showing on up, this has been the Don with the Don Tech. And remember, the Don's got your back. Alt, it doesn't show up anywhere. I'm the only one that can see it, but Alt, I love it. All right, now I got to stop streaming, right? Stop. Where's the stop button? You will not be able to reconnect. Your stream will stop and you will no longer be live. Isn't that the point? That's why I want to stop.